Hey guys, welcome back. I wanted to do this. I wanted to talk a little bit about this. I was thinking this a little while ago after after the Leafs lost again in another Game 7. Back-to-back years on home ice too. I saw this little stat, and not a real good stat. But before I get into and I wanted to also kind of do some comparisons about between like what they're going through and kind of what the Minnesota Wild organization is kind of going through too, because they're kind of parallel in a lot of ways. But before I get into that, I thank you guys for being here. I appreciate every one of you. And if you're new to the channel, if you're just cruising on through, and if you're searching the internet and you just happen to come across the channel, hopefully you'll tune into the videos. Hopefully you like them, and if you like them, hit that like button. If you really like them, hit that subscribe button. It's down there in the corner. And yeah, so what do you say we get into this little stat that I heard, and obviously we didn't know it until after the game was done, but apparently the Toronto Maple Leafs have become the first team ever be in either the NFL, the NBA, or Major League Baseball to lose the last game of the series 5 years in a row. 5. The last 2 on home ice. I mean, this year, last year you could, because I mean, I've already, kind of seen, some people going and saying they need to blow the whole thing up, heads need to roll, Keefe needs to be fired, Shanahan's head should be on a platter, Dubas needs to be thrown out on his butt, all that. All these guys need to be traded. No, you do not need to do that. Last year, yes. Last year, I could have, you could have justified it. I could have justified it last year. They were up 3-1 on the Montreal Canadiens, a team they were clearly better than. And the demons creep back in. those demons that just seem to be hanging. They just, as Stephen A. Smith he talks about it with the Dallas Cowboys. It seems like, when it comes to the Toronto Maple Leafs, there's a black cat running around that franchise. They just can't get over. They can't get over the hump. They can't win that last game. Since 2013, they are now 0-10 when they have a chance to knock out an opponent. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is with the Leafs. And I have friends who are huge Leaf fans, and even they don't know. Even they're like, I don't get why this team can't do it. I don't know why they can't win that 4th game of a round. I mean, they've got the talent, for God's sakes. I mean, they've got Matthews, they've got Marner, they've got Nylander, they've got Tavares. Bunting was phenomenal. Mikheyev was great. Kasha's tremendous. I mean, they're a pretty deep team. They've got a decent team. They've got Campbell in net, who was fantastic this year. And they've got, this kid, I'm guessing Mrazek isn't going to be long for the Leafs. So I think when it comes to backup, especially for next year, this kid Shelgren, whoo, He's pretty darn good. And some people are saying, all these guys, some of these guys need to be traded. I don't think so. It's not that they're. How am I? I'm trying to think how exactly to put this. It's not that they physically can't do the job, that they can't knock these teams out. I mean, we've seen it. I mean, they were up on Tampa Bay 3-2. They were in overtime of Game 6. And, Tampa, the 2-time defending champs, they find a way. They seem to find a way. And tonight, it's, like I said, it's not that the team doesn't know how to do the work. It's just, it's all up here. It's the mental thing. And, and partially, I think, honestly, that I don't know if there is, maybe they can bring in some exorcist or something and do an exorcism around that locker room or something. Get the bad juju out of there. Try to, get that black cat out of there. That black cat that seems to be running around that franchise that has been since 2004. This is now 18 years. We talked about the Florida Panthers and how they had not won a playoff series since I was a senior in high school. And the Panthers finally got over that hump. And they're playing in the second round. Now it's the Leafs' turn. You got to figure out, I mean, they have the longest drought of anybody else of not winning a Stanley Cup. They haven't won the Cup since 1967, when the league expanded from 6 teams to 12. That was the last time they won. They've had good teams. They've had really good teams. They just... I don't know. I don't know what more they can do. They have the talent. They're a great team. I mean, I was no dog in the fight, obviously. I mean, whether or not it was Toronto or Tampa, it didn't bother me which way. I like both teams. I want to see Toronto finally get over the hump, though. It'd be so, it's like, but I mean, this year, I mean, even I had thought coming into this one, I mean, now granted, in my playoff bracket, I had Tampa winning. I had Tampa winning in 6. Now, I didn't think it was going all 7, but I had Tampa winning, and not because I didn't think Toronto was good enough. It's just they were playing the reigning, defending, 2-time champions, back-to-back champions. And I mean, I figured Toronto would give them hell, and they did. I had Tampa in 6. But I'll tell you what, the fact that Toronto had them down 3-2. They had them. They had them down 3-2. And it was in overtime of Game 6. And that's all Tampa needs a lot of times. You just give them just that little bit. That little bit that they can capitalize on it. And when they capitalize on it, now you just unleashed them. And now they're like this big juggernaut, like, just looming over everything. And that's basically what happened. And I watched this series, and even I was watching a lot of these games, and I'm like, what's going on with Vasilevsky? Just, it didn't seem, I mean, he didn't seem right. I mean, he was letting in goals that 2 years ago, that over the last 2 years, he never would have allowed go past him. And the Leafs were they were putting goals up, 3-4 goals And you're like, what's going on with Vasilevsky? And even some people had said, we have not seen Tampa really put together a complete performance. Tampa has not really played that great. Vasilevsky had not played that great. And if there was ever a time to take advantage of that, it was there for Toronto. I mean, they had him on the ropes. They had Vasilevsky. He was giving up goals like crazy. I mean, they're putting 4 goals a night on him in those 6 games. But you get to game 7 and you're like, okay, how's this gonna work? Well, now go into game 7 and we're like, what kind of performance are we gonna get from Vasilevsky? Because he's been the last 5 games he's pitched shutouts in each one of them. And we're like, what kind of, what are we going to see? Are we going to see the great wall of Vasilevsky? Or are we going to see the Vasilevsky of the last 6 games? Well, tonight we saw the great wall of Vasilevsky. He did what he does best. You talk about the Lightning being the reigning defending 2 back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. Andrei Vasilevsky is the reigning and defending Conn Smythe Trophy winner. So, like I said, they haven't had that big performance from him yet. Now they have. And the Leafs, of course, they did everything in their power. I know there's a lot of Leaf fans. They're not happy. I know I've got some friends who are big Leafs fans. They're not happy whatsoever. It's just, ugh. I don't know what more can you do. I really don't. The Leafs, they've got the talent. I don't think they should blow anything up. I really don't. They have the Matthews ended this. Austin Matthews finished with 64 goals this past season. He was fantastic. Mitch Marner was fantastic. This team really started coming together. And just, the right moves. Bunting coming in was a great move. Mikheyev has been fantastic. Kasha, of course, the captain, John Tavares. They've got a really, really good team, and I really hope they don't completely blow things up. Like I said, last year you could have gotten away with it because you were clearly the better team, and you just let Montreal. They let Montreal come back in that series and win 3 straight, and they just it was almost like a bully taking the lunch money. Like, hey, here you go. Just give it to them. No fight, no nothing. This year, they had the fight. They had a lot of fight. And I really thought a couple of times in this series, I thought they're going to do it. They're finally going to win a first round series. And if they would have found a way to knock out the defending 2-time champions, sky would have been the limit. They to me they would have been a favorite to potentially go all the way to the finals. But Tampa is Tampa. And again, I think it was just a bad draw. The division they're in. The division they're in was you want to talk about a division of death. They talked about the redoing of the divisions from last year, and you had the one division that was the division of death, that was, that basically was the Metropolitan Division mixed in with, I think 1 or 2 Atlantic Division teams. You had Toronto, who was a definite favorite. They won the North, as we kind of figured they would, because they were the best team. And to go up 3-1 on Montreal and let them climb back into it, and not just climb back into it, but basically you let them basically come into your house, and they punked them out. They punked the Leafs out. And to go back, I mean, since 2004, and I talk about the Minnesota Wild too. From our point, from our fans in Minnesota's perspective, the Wild have had 6 straight playoff appearances where they have not gotten out of the first round. I mean, we talk about Toronto. Toronto's not the only one. Toronto's got the more prolonged one, but the Minnesota Wild are just as hapless, basically. I mean, the Wild going to have a fantastic year this year. They finally get a 100-point scorer. They finally win over 50 games for the first time ever. They come into an elimination game where they're trailing, and they just rolled over. That's all the Wild did. They just rolled over. Whatever. For being a Wild fan, that's frustrating. So, I mean, I can fully understand the frustration, because Leaf fans and Wild fans have a lot in common. We've got a lot of big-time pent-up frustration for our hockey teams, because we expect them to do better. Toronto is expected to do better. Toronto is expected to finally win a series this year. Kind of the same for Minnesota. I mean, there were, people here were thinking that this is a team that's can make some noise because they've got Kaprizov. They've got Zuccarello. They've got some good guys around Kaprizov. So you can build around him. And hopefully they continue to build around him. But they kind of have a salary cap issue themselves. Those buyout penalties for Parise and Suter come in next year. So, I don't know. I don't know what kind of team the Wild are going to put on the ice next year. And I know Toronto's in kind of a similar situation. They've got a bunch of cap issues. But when it comes to the main guys, Matthews, Marner, Tavares, who am I forgetting? Those 3 big guys, though. Matthews, Marner, Tavares. And Campbell in net, who had a fantastic year. They've got to find some way. You've got to think at some point. At some point, it's got to happen. And I thought this year was going to be the year. I honestly think Tampa or Toronto, they got the worst draw they could have gotten. They literally got the worst draw that they could have gotten. To end up finishing second in the division, which was great. But you end up looking at who finishes third. It's the defending 2-time champs. So I just, I don't think a lot of people had Toronto winning that series. I didn't. But it's just, I know I can only imagine what Leafs fans are going through. I can only imagine what my two friends are going through. And they're a father and son. The dad's around my age. His son is 24, something like that. Big Leaf fans. I mean, that's all they wear is Maple Leaf stuff. So I mean, I can only imagine what they're going through, and we know they're getting a lot of this. They're hearing a lot of this from other fans, other people, saying, going and going. The Leafs did it again. They suck. No, I'm not about to do that. Because to me, the Leafs do not suck. They are a fantastic team. They have a lot of talent. They've got this thing going on in their heads. They can't seem to get past whatever mental block they have. And like I said, I think, and this is, and I know this sounds crazy, but maybe they should think about bringing some kind of like voodoo priest into their locker room or something, and using the incense, and hey, and try to cleanse the locker room and the arena of all the evil spirits and all the black cats and everything. Something. Because this is a team that is good enough. They have the talent. They can win a Stanley Cup. They got to get past the mental problems. And like I said, I know it's totally far-fetched, but you know what? Maybe there's somebody that can come in and just try to ward off the bad juju, because there's something going on there. And they like I said, they have the talent. They get to the top of that hill. All they got to do, win that fourth game, go over. It's all downhill from there. They can't do it. They get to the top, and they're just like, that's a nice view up there. That's a pretty nice view up at the top. Oh, that's down there. Oh, that's a little steep. I don't know if we want to go down there. That's where the mental thing is. They've got to figure that out, because they're too good. They're too good of a team to always lose in the first round. They are way too good of a team. And I don't want to see them keep losing in the first round. I want to see them make a run. I want to see this team, this in 5 years, if they don't win the Stanley Cup within the next 5 years, it will become 60 years since they won the Stanley Cup. 2027 marks 60 years. The New York Rangers, it took them 54 to finally win the Stanley Cup and be able to erase the 1940 stigma that was on them. The Leafs have got the talent to do it. They just, again, they've got to get by that mental block. They got to get rid of the bad juju, something. I don't know exactly what they can do. I don't think they should blow the team up. I don't think they don't need to do a full-sale house cleaning. There is no shame in losing to the two-time back-to-back defending champions. There's no shame in that. None at all. Last year against Montreal, no, that was inexcusable. They were clearly the better team against Montreal. Clearly. And they just, they were just like, ah. Last year, I could have seen them blow everything up. This year, no. They were right there. They gave Tampa Bay all they could handle. And honestly, depending on how the rest of the playoffs go, if the Lightning, all of a sudden they start playing and they start steamrolling everybody to potentially their third Stanley Cup, and you look at those opponents and you could say, what was the hardest opponent? But these guys pushed them to that. And that these guys had them on the brink. They had them down 3-2. They couldn't get over the hump. And I know it's frustrating. It's so frustrating for Leaf fans. And of course, like I said, we know they're going to get all the hate. I've already started seeing it on my friend Justin's Facebook page. He put a whole thing on there, saying, hey, you know what, this is my team. I know a lot of you are going to come in here, y'all going to run the mouth, all that. And I even put as a comment, I'm like, no, they don't need to blow the team up. This team is a good team. They've got a lot of talent. Ain't no chirping coming from me, because I think they're a damn good team. I think they're a phenomenal team, and to me, it seems like it's in their head. It's all in their heads that they can't, they get to that. They get that third win, and they're like, we're right there. And then that fourth win, it's, they can't break through. And to me, that's mental. That's a mental thing. Again, like the Minnesota Wild. Same kind of thing there. You look at one reason why the Wild aren't massively successful. They had a great team this year. Why weren't they real successful? They're a mental thing too. All the Minnesota sports teams are just, they're frustrating, I think. I think frustrated is a good enough word for Minnesota sports fans. But it's not just one sport here. In Toronto, it's the Maple Leafs. Here in Minnesota, it's all of them. It's the Wild. It's the Twins. It's the Timberwolves. It's the Vikings. They're all frustrating. They all could have fantastic seasons, and they will always find a way to screw it up. Doesn't matter what team it is. They will always find a way to screw it up. And that's not just with one team, that's with all four of them. Toronto, it's just the one. And it's frustrating to watch. And they deserve better. They really do. The Leafs deserve better. They deserve a better fate. The fans deserve a better fate. Because the talent they have is too good. They're too good to keep this one and done thing. It's one thing, when the Wild go one and done. The Wild just got their main guy last year in Kirill Kaprizov. So they got to build around him. But for Toronto, especially in the Matthews Marner era, they're so good, and they deserve so much better. And obviously, it's another year. Another playoff year, another first round exit. What does the front office do? We don't know. We'll obviously know that in time. And oh man. I mean, what more can you say? I want these guys to do well. I do. They deserve better. The fans deserve better. Their fans and our fans, Maple Leaf fans and Wild fans equally deserve better from what they're given from their teams. So, yeah. So hopefully maybe my friends will see this, and yeah. So that's kind of my my little rant, maybe a little bit. Maybe not exactly necessarily like a rant. Maybe just my thoughts, my my feelings about how the Maple Leafs. What's exactly going on. At least what I think is going on. Let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think is the main problem with the Leafs? Is it their talent? Is it the coaching? Is it the general manager? What do you guys think? I would love to know your guys' thoughts. Or do you think it's a mental thing? Can they just not get past the first round because of their own mental, whatever's going on there that prevents them from getting through? I don't know. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on that, though. So please let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think the Leafs, do they have the talent that can get out of the first round? And if they can get out of the first round, can they make a run? Of course, you can't put the cart before the hearse. The cart before the hearse. I don't think that's really possible. The cart before the horse. Because before you can even think about winning the Stanley Cup, you got to get out of that first round first. So, again, let me know your guys' thoughts on that. And your guys' opinion. Should the Leafs blow it up? Should they blow the whole thing up and start from scratch? Or do you think keep this core together and maybe try to tweak some things? Maybe a little bit. I don't know. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on that, though. So let me know in the comments section what you guys think. And again, I thank you guys for your support. I'm so happy you all are here. And anyone new that's just stopping on in, hopefully you've enjoyed the videos. If you have enjoyed the videos, hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button that's down there in the corner. I would gladly appreciate it. I would appreciate all the support you guys give. And I welcome all the hockey fans. Bring all the hockey fans in. But yeah. So yeah, if you like the videos, hit that subscribe button down there in the corner. Let me know what you guys think. Is it a mental thing with the Leafs? Do they need to blow the whole thing up and start from scratch? Or do you think they just need to tweak, just do a couple little tweaks maybe? And maybe give, let me know your thoughts too on the crazy thought, which, yes, it is crazy that maybe they, just bring somebody in to kind of cleanse the locker room and get all the bad juju out. What do you guys think of that idea? I know that sounds totally crazy, but at this point, with what the Leafs are going through, you almost got to try everything, right? So let me know your guys' thoughts on that. Hit that like button if you like the video. Hit that subscribe button down there in the corner. The subscribe button is your friend. I thank you guys so much for everything. And another Leaf season that ends in round 1. Let me know your thoughts. Talk to you guys again soon.